Well, I think we need to encourage better leadership. And everywhere where I go to speak, I talk about what I think is one of the keys to leadership and to hiring. Here's the first question I'll ask for all the cops listening out there. If I go and speak to a bunch of leaders, I say, let me ask you a question. If somebody were to come to you and say, hey, your son wants to join the police force, what would you say? Most cops, even leaders, yeah, I think the key to getting people back into this profession is leadership. We need stronger leaders across this country in law enforcement, leaders that won't bend the knee. And we also need leaders that understand the importance of hiring. Now, I go speak to leaders and agencies and people across this country, and I always ask them this question. And we're part of the problem of not hiring, and then we complain that we can't hire. But if I were to go into a room full of cops and say, how many of you would want your son or daughter to do this job? Most cops sit there with a guilty look on their face because we've all been guilty of telling people, oh, no, I wouldn't recommend anybody do this job. Well, then, of course, we're not going to hire. So I've been challenging leaders, stop saying that. If somebody says, would you let your son or daughter do this job? My answer is absolutely, because we need warriors now more than ever, and we need people that are willing to step up and do this job. It is still an honorable profession, the most honorable profession, important profession in the survivability of the republic. And so I really try to change my own narrative in my own head. And that is why we started hiring, because once I accepted the fact that, yes, this is a great profession, it portrays itself on your social media, your leadership style, how you carry yourself. And so I think we are our own worst enemy when it comes to hiring. So any cops out there or any chiefs or leaders, make sure that you're not saying, oh, no, I wouldn't have my people do it. Make sure you're saying, yes, this is a great profession. And that'll help all agencies. But we've been very aggressive on social media. I am at the very tail edge of the Phoenix Valley. And then I'm also Tucson to the south of me. And so if I am not aggressively putting ourselves out there, branding our agency, I'm going to be at the bottom of the totem pole for hiring. And instead, because of what we've done on social media and how we've portrayed it, and we've shown the real law enforcement, we show us chasing people. We show the dogs biting people in jail. We show us tasing people in jail. We show the real aspect of law enforcement, and we don't try to hide it. We show our community exactly what it is that we're doing, and they embrace that, and it makes people want to come work here. So I think it all starts with leadership and how you go about telling people that this is the greatest profession.
I agree, because part of the problem is people are so disconnected from what the job entails. They see a small 20-second clip of a 5-minute event, whatever it is, but they don't get to see what we see every day. And I'm not doing that to float our own boat as cops or whatever, but if we're going to have a discussion on how policing is, you need to see exactly what we're dealing with every day. And I love Fridays with Frank. I'm going to have him on the pod. But just in a traffic stop, we're not talking a domestic, nothing like that. You see Frank pulls someone over and immediately talking shit to the officer or whatever it is, that little snot that was in that blue Mustang. And then the parents show up. That one video alone says everything that I want to say. But that is what you have to deal with. And if your attitude towards that is like, that's what you signed up for, well, I'm sorry. Like, that is a very unrealistic and jaded perspective that you're not being fair. You're not being fair, and you're not going to get cops to come to your area. The cops that you want, you're not going to get them to come to your area. Now, when you do what you're doing, you got guys like me looking like, I love my department, but shit, what's Pinnell paying over there? Maybe I should go over there. I mean, and I've been doing this 17 years. So if Sheriff Grady too is another dude that I'm like, you know what, maybe I should jump ship.
And you're saying that the guys the people that are hiring are the ones that aggressively go out there and say, look, this is how we do the job. And we're doing it because we want to protect you and we want to protect our guys. And I think that ultimately the people appreciate that. They want you to just talk to them as if all you do is post petting puppies and showing up and doing this. The average citizen knows that's not the case. They know that there's more going on. But when you show them everything that's going on, then your citizens trust you. They know that you shoot them straight, and they know that you show them the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think that's important that your citizens see that. And it actually is important for hiring because people know what they're getting into when they come to work at Pinal County. They've seen it. They've seen how we do our job and the expectations we have, and they see the leadership in this agency doing is trying to lead from the front. So that's what we do, and that's what's been successful for us. You mentioned on social media, from what we can see, there's only 2 agencies in this country that have more Facebook followers than us, and that is the FBI, which, by the way, they got an inside track, as we've seen lately,
Right.
and then NYPD,
Yeah.
and then number 3, Pinal County for followers. Unless we're not seeing somebody, but from what we can see, we're number 3 in the country for Facebook followers, and it's because we showcase what we do and what our guys do and the great job that they do every day.
Yeah, I'm telling, when I was going, and I'm a nerd, so I'm sorry. Part of this podcast idea was from my thesis for my master's, and that was the writing on the wall. I was like, we've got this